This past week on NAS100 was crazy, but in this video, we're going to go over my game plan for this upcoming week. We're going to talk about modified entries, exits, and profit targets on this market, especially because we can see that sales played out tremendously and then started to push back up. So in order to figure out where the price is going to go for next week, we're going to hop into this video right now and talk about these levels on NAS100. So looking at this market, like I said, price sold off tremendously. So the initial idea was for sales mainly below this level. We see a gap and then price just sold off. So if you followed price down through these levels, you made a lot of money inside of the NAS100 market last week. And then price started to bounce up again. So actually what I want to do is I want to keep the levels that I currently have here, but I just want to make some adjustments based on what has happened in terms of price pushing back up last week. So let's go ahead and clean up this chart a little bit. And just as a refresher, I'm going to start from the top down and just call out the different levels that I drew last week. I am building another community on School called the Consistent Profitable Traders. This is a group that is free to join. Basically, I envision having conversations about price action trading. And I do have some things in the classroom here. There will be more educational resources inside of the classroom very soon. And every month, I will have a monthly call where I'll answer questions that you may have about trading profitably. So go ahead and check out Consistent Profitable Traders on School. The link will be in the description box below. And if you want to see me draw those levels in real time, then go ahead and check out last week's NAS100 video. But for right now, we are now sitting at the first level at the top of the chart at 22,147. The second level is at 21,897, really close to 21,900. So if you want to adjust that, go ahead. And then the next level is at 21,600 and roughly 80. And then I have some minor levels here. Let me scoot this over. Minor levels sitting right here. You can see at 21,524. We will make adjustments. And then this level at 21,409 as another minor level. And then we have 21,280 as a key level. And then another key level is going to be 21,000 flat, pretty much. And you can see that price tapped into that perfectly last week. And then we also have our last level of 20,600 roughly. And you can see price tapped into that also perfectly. So let's go ahead and create some perfect levels for this upcoming week. So the first thing I want to do is actually get rid of these minor levels, just because with all the price action from last week, there were some changes that we can clearly see on the chart. And I want to make sure that my key levels are still in alignment with what I see inside of the market at this point. So if we look at price from week before last now, we can see that price gapped down and broke through all of these levels, respecting this level right here at 20,600 roughly. And that was set mainly due to some price action over to the left. And I want to keep that level. I want to keep this level because you can see that this wick tapped into here perfectly and then rejected. Yes, it did do some weird stuff here, but then it came back for a retest and then pushed off of here. And then same with this level. So I definitely want to keep this as a key level as well, mainly for the same reasons. And then price did come back above this level, looking like it was going to possibly hit this level right here, this 21,893, really close to 21,900, and it did not. So it failed to come all the way up here. So as far as the game plan for this upcoming week, all right, so if we look at how the market ended last week, it ended roughly at 21,407. And you can see that the candles here, let me get my arrow. You can see that the candles here, they start off really big and then they start to get smaller. So that tells me that the momentum in this direction on this market could be reversing. It's not always set up as a definite thing, but sometimes when I see that, usually it plays out. All right, so what price could potentially do, price could potentially come down to this level at 21,200 and roughly 80. And we see how in the past price bounced off of this level, and then price bounced off of this level 3 times in this situation, and then once again here. And then if we look in the past a couple of weeks, we can see that price also respected this level multiple times. So what I anticipate, if price doesn't just immediately come back up to this level and retest, what price could potentially do is come down to this level, bounce maybe a couple times, and then push up and make its way back to this resistance level roughly at 21,685. So that is an idea. Actually, that's 2 ideas that I have with this particular market. And if for some reason, if price wanted to continue to push down and continue to sell off, then the idea would be for price to come down to this level. And we can see before price respected this level several times, even though we did have some sort of false breakout right here, it did come back through and then tap into this level and respected that level and then pushed up. So I see that as an idea. And then if for some reason there's a lot of bearish sentiment in the market, price continues to push down, I would look for price to retest this level just like it did before. So the really cool thing about trading is that sometimes patterns inside of the market, I'm not talking about chart patterns really, except for this double bottom, I do like that. But the other stuff, not talking about that, but basically price tends to respect levels. And if you really look at the data that the candles are presenting you, it could give you a really good sense of what could potentially happen in the future based on what has happened in the past. So that's my idea to the downside. So let me go ahead and put my arrow here because this is a selling idea. Actually, more so right here, my selling idea. And then as far as buys, there could potentially be buys in this area. Just depends on how the candles look. I don't have that data right now, so I really don't want to make that judgment call. But if price was to come back up here, then I'd be looking for buys, mainly because price did attempt to push up, or it did push up, but it didn't hold one time. And then if we go back, we can see that once price came up above this level, it did tap into this resistance, and then it respected this level again before selling off. Now, this big sell-off, if you probably don't remember, was based on news catalysts, some comments being made inside of the news about several companies or several industries, and that just caused a really big sell-off. So it will be interesting to see how things play out this week. But on the upside, let's go ahead and talk about that idea. I would look for my initial target to be right about here. And this target would be at 21,700 and let's just say 90, mainly because we saw that price came up above here and then it didn't go higher than that. So if I was to trade in this zone, I would be looking for a price to immediately get to about here. And for my trading plan, this is about 112 points. So definitely fits within my trading plan. If it fits within inside of yours, then it's great too. If not, then just adjust as necessary. But that would be my initial target. Have you ever thought that you had to sit in front of charts all day in order to make money from the markets? Well, in this How to Trade with a Full-Time Job kit, I'm going to show you how to master trading in just 1 hour per day without sacrificing your job. You're going to get the strategies that I personally use in order to be able to make time in order to trade and learn and do whatever else I need to do inside of my life. And then my secondary target would be from this same level all the way to here. This is also 100 points inside of the market. So definitely a really nice trade depending on how you trade NAS100. And of course, if price was to continue to push up even further, of course, that would be amazing. And I would target this level right here. But first, I want to look to the left to see if there are any places where price could potentially get hung up and price reverse. So I'm just going to scoot back and just see. Okay, so right in here, price did tap into this level that I'm targeting for this upcoming week, but price did kind of get hung up right here, roughly at 22,000. So let me go ahead and mark off this level. Let's see, I think I want to mark off this level right here. I could have marked off this one. Let me see. This is about 75 points away. Actually, less than that, about 50 points away. Let me see how this looks. Okay, so actually, instead of doing this, this could be a great first target, and then this be a second target, and then this be a third target. But really, I would want to focus on this as my first target here. So if we measure this distance, we can see that this is about 125 points. That fits nicely within my trading plan. And then this up here is 250. So that is about 126 points. So that is a really nice plan. So basically I just chopped this area in half just based on the first resistance level, just because I wanted to play it safe. And then of course, I like to just take my money, and if price gets there in a couple of days, then cool, but I'd rather just have my money off the table and be able to trade for another day. So this has been my idea for this upcoming week on NAS100. If you found this helpful, go ahead and let me know in the comment section, so that way I can continue mapping out this market and coming up with trading ideas to help you improve your trading over this upcoming week.